We are all assembled, so let's get ourselves called to order here. Janie, it appears that you're taking minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So we're called to order at 12:01 p.m. Oh, I have multiple Jennies now.
Hi guys. Oh,
Hi,
Jenny.
Jenny.
hi. Sorry, in my privacy, my microphone wasn't on before. So when I switched it, it hung up.
Okay. Good deal. We are called to order. So you haven't, just a moment ago, so you haven't missed much.
Oh, great.
First item of business up is selecting a committee chair. Last year, our committee chair was Jenny. Any discussion as far as who that chair should be for the next year? Jenny, I don't know if you would be interested in continuing in that capacity. Would prefer to see it go to somebody else, or what your feelings are.
Oh, that's perfect. Whichever works for everyone else. Either way is fine with me.
Great. I'm gonna nominate Jenny.
I second Jenny Graziano as our esteemed chair.
All right.
Nice.
I think consistency, some continuity from year to year would be good. This is an
That's
important
right.
committee.
Yeah.
Agreed. Okay, so I have a motion from Janie, second from Bonnie. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Congratulations, committee chair.
Great.
Yay.
Hey, Eric, you might want to mute me. I am heading out the door for.
Okay. You are muted. That brings us to the minutes, which I had forwarded out ahead of time. They are the minutes from March 18th. Pretty brief because most of the meeting happened in executive session.
Yes.
Well, I will move to accept.
I second.
All right, motion to approve, motion to approve and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, minutes are approved, and that will take us up to the goal document,
What was that date again, Eric?
March 18th.
March 18th.
HR goals. Okay. So the goals that we had set for the previous fiscal year. Succession planning. As noted, this has been a substantial goal here for everybody. It's one that I've been incorporating. I've been doing some regular documenting and then training sessions with other staff members here to help better document the things that I do, such as how to do fund transfers, how to do payroll, the statement of economic interest stuff, and the annual request to not have to pay property taxes, fun things like that need to happen in the course of the year and that are director's responsibilities, so that if I were suddenly not here, that somebody would still know how to do all these things without having to recreate the wheel, so to speak. So that has been underway and has been a pretty good thing. We had set a goal for benchmarking to review staff salaries to ensure continued compliance with minimum wage laws and set goals for professional staff salaries aimed at staff retention. We didn't exactly do that as we'd laid out. What kind of happened instead was mid-year we had, with some staff turnover, we did a pretty significant reset on our salaries to bring ourselves in compliance with the minimum wage laws. And then that bump, getting ourselves in compliance, and then making sure that the salary scale still reflected the appropriately the levels of responsibilities that were assigned between individuals. Basically that moving folks up to $15. We don't want to have somebody with 10 years experience in doing our bookkeeping still making $15 if that's now the minimum wage. So that kind of got taken up there. I do think that is one that we want to revisit. I know that we had discussed the possibility of bringing in someone to help us, do a review of our salary scale, and someone that would have the professional resources to do a good survey of other similar libraries and institutions, and make recommendations for where the scale ought to be set. And I do think there's value in that. And I think that's one we should revisit.
What kind of people do that, Eric?
There's a number of folks in the area that do that. The one the libraries most frequently work with in the area is the Management Association. / I think they changed their name to the HR Source. But they, as an institution, they have an agreement through the Reaching Across Illinois library system where all the libraries in the area get a discount on membership. So they tend to be kind of the library savvy group as a result. Plus a discount. We like discounts.
I think that's like a really great goal. But I also think it's important for us to kind of review where, as a committee, to review the job descriptions that you guys have on file so that when we start working with them, we can make sure we're as up to date as possible. And since Lake Bluff has probably a smaller library than some of the other places, I feel like probably some of your staff have multiple roles. So maybe your head children's librarian does, she has a number of different things. And I think this goes to succession planning too. I don't know. So we didn't do any of it last year, so you might have done it 2 years ago. But I think it's important for us to kind of have the most up-to-date file as far as your job descriptions go, as far as what all the responsibilities are that your staff has, as well as you too. So that I think when we meet with them, we already have a good base for where the staff is at. And because I also think that goes to reviews as well. Because I think we mentioned at the last review, I'd love to reach out to a few other libraries to see how they are doing their reviews so that we can kind of compare it to what we've done and see if there's other things that we might be able to take from what other libraries are doing. And Eric, I don't know if that's something, if you agree with that idea, and I don't know if that's something that we as a committee could help with, if we could look at the documents that you have on file now and so we can start updating some of those. I don't think it's anything your staff would have to do, but I think we as a committee could start helping to update some of these things. A lot of it is probably just meeting with staff and reviewing it and then making the changes. I think it can be pretty simple, but it's so important, and your staff probably doesn't have the time to do that, but it's so important that we know, oh, this person is in charge of making sure that there's a librarian at the summer reading program, which everyone probably knows, but it's great to have it written down, because I think sometimes when someone leaves, then you're like, oh, I didn't know that they even did that.
That's a great idea, Jenny.
Yeah, I think it's so important. So you don't lose that kind of knowledge.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Brand legacy.
I agree, Jenny. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
That sounds good to me.
Okay.
The way that we've got it set up, and I'll provide the information on this, is that you're right that as a small library, everybody tends to have a variety of different responsibilities, including some that often fall outside the department or their regular stated job parameters. So full-time staff have specific job descriptions. The job descriptions for the part-timers tend to be pretty generic. And
Yeah.
then what we do instead is we have a regularly updated roles and responsibilities document that's basically just like 6 or 7 pages, basically just describing who does what. And that's proven generally easier than the constant updates, because, you know, you're right, as a small library, you know, a lot of staff members' job positions can be kind of bits and pieces pulling from a lot of different places. And that gets to be tough to, you know, accurately keep that, you know, description up to date for people. Well, periodically we've, you know, I'll go through and I'll, you know, tell staff, like, give me a summary of everything that you do and we'll discuss, and, you know, so we've got an updated record of that.
Yeah.
Haven't done that post-COVID, so I think that would be a good thing to do. I think it would be
Yeah,
timely.
Yeah, I think it would be great. And I think it would be nice to like have, you know, to also match those with like a formal job description, you know, like we can start with a general one and then add in the responsibilities that are also included in what they're doing now. Because I also think that helps with your reviews too, and also with salary increases, because if someone is doing 3 jobs, that's really important, and that should factor into where their salary falls.
Okay. So what am I?
Well, I was wondering if, Bonnie, I'm so glad you joined our committee, because I think, and Eric, too, and Janie, I love what you guys did on the tech committee, going out to other libraries and finding out more about how they're doing, because I think a little research would kind of help us to find out like how, and I know, Eric, we touched on this briefly in regards to your review. I'd love to see how other areas are how they're doing their executive director review, or even just their staff reviews, and kind of look at how we're doing it in ours. And I think we could also look at how do they keep track of their job descriptions, and is there a way we can incorporate some of that? As well as we could also start looking, if you could share the document with us, if you feel comfortable, that would be great. And then maybe we could kind of go from there about how we can formalize it and help you keep track of the changes.
Okay, so the goal then would be to review review the procedure and documentation for director and staff evaluations using information from neighboring libraries.
I think that'd be a great place to start before we hire someone to help us formalize some of it. I think it would be great to do a little research over the summer. My goal would be if we could do some of this and meet with some of these libraries before August. And then if we feel like in August we don't have enough and we still need a little outside help, then we could talk about hiring the people that you talked about in regards to salary and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Hey,
So
Eric
I
and team, it's Bonnie. Given that I think summer tends to be one of the busiest times for libraries, I'm wondering if August is a long enough runway for us to try to collect our own information. We might want to extend that a little bit.
Yeah.
I'll see what I can get. I'm hopefully, fingers crossed, the The collecting documents portion of it shouldn't be too lengthy. Being able to get meetings set with other library administrators in the area would probably be the challenging part. As noted, everybody's pretty busy.
Did you, Eric?
But I
did
can
you
get the
set up-
stuff. The stuff should be fairly straightforward.
That's perfect. And that's a perfect place to start. Eric, did you set up all the meetings for the tech committee?
Yes.
Oh, so you had to do all that.
Yep.
Mm.
The
And I think we could even.
I'm framing what it as a rule.
Huh?
Anytime that a trustee from one library reaches out to the administrators, the directors at another library, there tends to be a bit of skepticism as far as kind of what they're up to, I guess. I'm not really sure how to exactly phrase it, but the net result is that generally then it gets brought back around where then that other director reaches out and says, do you know your trustees over here? Asking, all these questions about how things run. So it tends to be simpler, and also because I know everybody already, because we have regular meetings and I know them and they know me, for me to just set stuff up. It's really not that time consuming.
Okay.
And what I did for the technology committee, rather than like spend a lot of time running back and forth, like, are you available on Wednesday? No, you're not available on Wednesday. What about Tuesday?
Right.
Is I just sent out an email like, Dave, who's the director over at Cook Memorial in Libertyville.
Yeah.
This is Matt. Matt, this is Dave. We're working on these tech committee visits. Dave, could you work with Matt on setting up a time where he can come over and look at your tech stuff?
Yeah. Oh,
And
perfect.
setting up the time to them.
Oh.
Because otherwise that would be a lot of work.
Yeah, as long as it's, I don't want to put like more on your plate. And I don't think we need to meet as extensively with libraries as, I think like two or three libraries would give us a span of ideas. I don't think it needs to be as extensive as the tech committee was.
Yeah. I'm interested to see what we hear. Most of the bigger libraries in the area, and they mostly are bigger libraries, a lot of them will have, actual honest to goodness HR departments.
Yeah.
We're of course a little bit different animals since, we don't have, we have people that do HR as part of their responsibilities rather than a straight up department. But that might be good. There might be things that, if we can get a chance to talk to some of those professionals, that we would, as novices, be able to pick up.
Yeah, well, and I think too, if we're going to work with an outside agency too, then it'll give us some ideas of like what kind of direction we want to go in, so that they can help us to do some of this if that's what we're looking for.
Yep. So you are thinking then that, like with the tech committee, that this would be potentially meetings that trustees would go out on.
Well, I think
Is
it'd be important to have I think anyone could be able to go, but I do think it's important to have a trustee from the HR committee go.
Okay.
So that we can have some idea, we can listen to, and help to implement some of the things. And the summer is a really good time for me, not to put it on anyone else, but I'm happy to go on any of them because my kids will be busy. So, and I'm not working during the summer.
Okay.
So
we'll see if we can get set up.
To do any of the meetings.
Early August might end up being our target range there. The summer reading club ends at the end of July, so August tends to be the month of kind of unraveling, unwinding things from the hubbub on the first part of the summer. So we'll get things set.
Okay, that sounds great. Eric, I'm wondering if, in the meantime, if you could get us the paperwork that you have, and then maybe we could
Mhm.
take a look at that, and then also come up with kind of a list of like questions that if we were going to these meetings, we would ask, so that we can
Okay.
meet as a committee before we go on any of the meetings, maybe in early August, to kind of talk about what we found, and then kind of finalize how we think the meetings would look, and discuss so that we're all on the same page.
Sounds good. So I think maybe before we start scheduling meetings, then we would have at least one more HR committee meeting to look at questions, to look at the existing documents.
Mhm.
And I think probably I'll put together a list of other libraries in the area, probably to consider who we would want to reach out to in terms of which libraries to target as well.
Perfect. That sounds great. And anything we can help with, just let us know.
We'll do. Though most of this is going to be gathering together information and documents that we've got already extant. I just need to get them attached to an email. So
Oh,
shouldn't be
great.
too time intensive.
Perfect.
Speaking of
Same deal
attaching,
with a list of libraries in the area. It's, you know, I've got that. It's just getting it onto an email.
Okay.
speaking of attaching stuff to emails, Jenny, I was unable to open that document. you
I know,
sent.
I am sorry. I am really having problems with, I have to go home and like figure out why it's requesting access from you. I'm not
Okay.
sure what that is, because I got a request from everyone, so I apologize.
Okay, all right. So it's not just me being a Luddite.
No, it's not you. Eric's like, or Eric already had another problem too with like my meeting minutes. So I'm sorry. I'm new to Google sharing, so I don't know why. I'm like, if you share a document, I don't know why that's asking you for access. So I'm gonna go home. I have to just like spend a little time, and then I'll resend it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
That's all right. Understood.
Okay. So then for our possible FY 22-23 goals, benchmarking, but then also review current procedures and documentation for director and staff evaluations and job descriptions, making use of information and documents from other libraries in the area. And I'll send this updated document out for everybody.
Okay.
Thank you.
Then I had left in there as well. Another one to circle back to was coming back and taking a look at the exit interview practice and procedure. How it happens, who's involved, what questions are asked. That's another one that kind of slipped by last year, but I do continue to think would be a positive in terms of spending some time taking a look at that. So,
Can you send that to us as well?
yep. Do you mean the goal document or the exit interview process as it currently exists?
The exit interview practice. Do you mind? I don't know. I
problem.
must have missed it this year. I know we talked about it, but now I can't remember.
Yep, I will send that out as it currently stands.
Oh, that's great.
Okay. Questions, comments, other goals?
Hey,
3 is a pretty standard number for these, so we probably don't need to add more, but if we have an idea for more, we can. But we probably don't want to go for too many more than 4.
I was gonna
Fine.
say,
Hey, Eric.
this sounds a lot. This sounds like a good amount to take on in a year to me.
I agree, Janie. I do have one suggestion though, just to make sure that as we think about embarking on these 3 items, we think about salary and benefits, because I know, you know, in the private sector, whatever, benefits can vary dramatically and can be very valuable. you know, things like
Yes.
medical insurance, et cetera. So I just want to make sure we start off thinking broadly about any
Yeah.
benchmarking.
I will add the word benefits to our benchmarking analysis. It's a good point.
Perfect, perfect, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions on goal items? Okay, I will get this updated goal list sent out to everybody. Other HR items that we wanted to jump into. Jenny, I think you've been thinking of jumping in on director's process. Would that be something that you wanted to start a discussion on now, or is that kind of more wrapped into the goal for the year discussion?
Well, I don't know how Janie feels, since she was, you know, really integral to the process this year, but I think it could be, I think it would be part of what we're doing with meeting with the libraries and stuff like that.
I would agree.
Makes sense to me.
Okay.
I kind of thought that was where we were at, but I wanted to be sure, and I didn't want to miss you if you were thinking otherwise.
Yeah, no.
Okay. Unless there's other items up for discussion, that's all that we had on the agenda. So we could have a motion to adjourn, and I could start bombarding you with many wonderful HR documents.
Yes. Well, I just want to side note, we went to story time on the green this morning and we had the best time, and we're very excited for summer reading program to kick off.
Yay.
Yes. Oh, Miss Regina did a great job. That speaker that you guys have is so wonderful. It makes it easy to hear them read the book. It was so fun. And the book cart looked great. So it was a great start to the summer. And there was, yeah, so I just wanted to say that was great. Thank you.
Wonderful. That's good to hear. Yeah, Regina does a great job. She really does.
It was wonderful. It was nice to see Jillian and Anna too. It was great.
Excellent. I'll pass that along.
Oh, good. Oh, good. But that was all.
All
Okay,
right.
I'll move to adjourn then.
A second.
All right. Motion to adjourn from Bonnie, second from Jenny. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Meeting is adjourned at 12:29 p.m.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Have a great
Bye,
day.
everybody.
Weekend. It is beautiful out there.
Yeah.
Yes, so nice.